What if I told you there's a way to do a 3-day water fast that doesn't feel like torture? I'm talking about a method so simple, you'll wonder why nobody ever told you this before. After so many fasts of my own and all the trial and error that I've done and experimenting, I've developed a blueprint that I feel makes water fasting almost, dare I say it, easy. Today, I'm going to share every single step of that formula, including the game-changing trick that makes a 3-day water fast feel like just 2 days. So stick around, because at the 7-minute mark, I'll reveal the most crucial mistake people make when breaking their fast, one that can actually undo all of your hard work. Hi there, I'm Nat, and on this channel, I help people just like you discover the transformative power of water fasting, and not just to survive it, but to actually enjoy it. So if you're wondering how to do water fasting properly, you're in the right place. I've gone from struggling with my first lot of fasts to successfully completing 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, and I'm about to show you exactly how to do a 3-day fast the right way, because in 72 hours, there is an incredible amount of healing that goes on in your body. So this video is no fluff, just the exact blueprint that actually works. Now, before we dive into the exact steps, let's start with a clever psychological hack that makes this whole process easier. So instead of thinking of this as a 3 full days of fasting, we're going to actually call it a 72-hour fast. And here's why that simple shift actually changes everything. So if you start after lunch on your last prep day, then fast for the next 2 days, so 2 full days with no food, by the time day 3 of your fast comes around, you'll be able to eat again at lunchtime. So effectively, you're only going 2 full days without food, and that's a full 72 hours or 3-day fast. Suddenly feels more doable, right? This isn't just clever maths, this is psychology that actually works. But before you mark out the dates on your calendar, there are 3 crucial decisions you need to make. So one thing I get our freedom fasters to do before they do any fast, whether it's their first fast or their 31st fast, is to make some of these decisions. This includes, why are you even doing this fast in the first place? And I'll give you a tip in a minute that will really help you on your fast, and that's about why I say this fast. So the infamous why. Why are you choosing to go without food? All through the ups and downs that it brings, what do you want out of it? This why, once you hit on it, will become your North Star. So when the going gets tough and you're getting really hungry, this is what must be so firmly in your mind that you've got the resolve then to see it through. Some of the reasons I've actually fasted before, I did my first ever fast because I noticed I was starting to get really stiff when I was getting up from the couch or the bed. It took me a little bit to get going, and I really wondered, oh my goodness, I'm now 52 at the time. How on earth am I going to be in my 80s or my 90s? That's not good. We're not getting on a good trajectory here. And then there was the stiffness and the pain in my ankle and my leg after I'd broken it a couple of years ago. I had not been able to walk properly since then. And again, I didn't want to have the issue in my old age because I knew it wasn't going to get any better. It was actually just going to keep getting worse and worse. I've also been driven to break my hereditary cycle of disease and ailments that my mum actually has. I had been back to Australia to visit mum and dad. I'd been 4 years since COVID. When I saw my mum again, I noticed just how much she had really aged, and more than anything, how many ailments that she actually had, like literally dozens and dozens. I came away thinking, wow, I do not want to have that as my reality. When I get into my 70s and 80s, I want to break that hereditary cycle. I've also done a fast because I actually had thrown my back out and I was in a massive amount of pain. But we were due to do a road trip and I didn't want that to impede my experience. We were going to some hot springs and I really wanted to enjoy that with a group of friends who we were going with. So I fasted to reduce the inflammation in my back and therefore the pain. And don't forget, the pain actually comes from inflammation, and there's no faster way to reduce inflammation in a more natural way than water fasting. So that was one of the drivers from one of my fasts. And I fasted to lose weight, of course. And on a 14-day water fast with just 7 days of juice, so 21 days with no food, I lost 28 pounds. Other freedom fasters have fasted because they had a special occasion coming up, like a wedding, and they wanted to safely and quickly lose weight. Some have fasted to reset their relationship with food because fasting definitely does that, and they have managed to stop the sugar cravings and finally break that cycle of overeating all the time. Others have done it for more serious ailments like autoimmune diseases, and they wanted to reduce the painful symptoms of that due to inflammation. So here's the big tip. Whatever your reason, make it specific for this particular fast you're about to do, and then have another reason for the next fast. Because I found that if I said, oh, I just want to be healthy, it was all a bit too vague. It wasn't strong enough to see me through some of the hunger pains and the ups and downs, the headaches and things like that. I also found the same thing if I said that I just wanted to generally lose weight. So having a specific goal for your weight for this particular fast might actually work. And then that will see you through far easier than just a general thing. So the next question, when will you fast? Now you've decided that you'll do this fast. There's no point just talking about fasting and not actually getting on with it and making the reality. As I always say, you can't heal just by talking about fasting. So for this process of a 3-day fast, I'm suggesting you do 6 days. Now, don't freak out when I say that. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be eating for 6 days. You'll be actually eating for most of it. But you'll have 2 prep days. You'll start your fast sometime on prep day 2, after lunch or say an early dinner. And then you'll have no food on days 3 and 4. And then you'll refeed on day 5 and 6. And that refeeding means you get to eat again. So it's a 6 days in total process. And that's a good amount of time to get your body ready to fast and also to have light food again when you finish your fast. When are you going to be able to fit in 6 days for this process? Do you want to have your 2 non-eating days over a weekend when you can rest more perhaps and maybe not have so much on? Or do you want to do them during the week when you're a little bit busier so you can take your mind off not having food on those 2 days? If you're finding these steps helpful so far, hit that like button and stick around because I'm about to share the exact protocol for breaking your fast, including the one key nutrient that makes all the difference between success and failure, particularly in weight loss. So here's what a weekend fast could look like. You could be prepping on Thursday and Friday, and so you could have lunch, say at work on Friday, and then you would start your fast. So it would start, your 72 hours would start on Friday, say about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You would go through all day Saturday and all day Sunday with not eating. And then Monday, perhaps you're back at work, you get to eat lunch again because your 72 hours would actually be up at that 1 or 2 o'clock point again. So really, you've only just not eaten for Saturday and Sunday. And here's what a weekday fast could look like. So perhaps you're prepping on the Monday and the Tuesday. Again, maybe around the lunchtime on the Tuesday, you have lunch at work. You then start your fast, your 72-hour timer starts. And then you would have Wednesday and Thursday not eating. And Friday, you'd be back again eating around that lunchtime period again. So only Wednesday and Thursday at this stage, you would not be eating. So of course, these can be any days. You can mix it up, partially on the weekend, partially on the weekdays, whatever you like. But these are just examples. All right, so this is the prep work you're going to do before the fast. You can't just dive in like you're diving into the deep end with floaties. Preparation is really key to fasting success. And every successful water fast starts in your pre-prep. This is the days or weeks before your fast when you're preparing your body to move into a fasted state. This phase is essential to ensure your fast has less detox symptoms, especially if you've not fasted before or you haven't fasted for some time. So for something like a 3-day fast, you could just do 1 day of pre-prep. But generally, the longer the better. If you want to do a couple of days, that's perfectly fine as well. Minimum would be 1 day of pre-prep. So that way you're not going to shock your system and you can start the detox process well in advance of the fasting days. And this will have you slip into water fasting so much easier and with way less symptoms. Trust me, you will thank yourself for giving you this pre-prep process time it really deserves. So my big go-to for pre-prep days is what I call my Quad S approach. So that's salads, soups, stir fries, and smoothies. And juices are also an incredible way to move into a fast. They've got most of the fiber removed, so they're even lighter on digestion, but they're packed full of the goodness. So if you wanted to, you could just do juice for 1 or 2 days leading into your fast. Just make sure though that they are freshly squeezed juices because the enzymes in juice break down really within a couple of hours. So having mainly fruits and vegetables will really start to clean out your system now, load you up on plenty of vitamins and minerals, and also start the detox process. And this is a good time to also increase your water intake as well. So aim to have about 2 to 4 liters a day to really help that detox process and get things moving into your system before you start the fast. All right, welcome to the fast. So timing your fast. Many people like to use apps or timers to count down their 72 hours. I find I like doing that too. So down below in the description are links to an iPhone and Android fasting apps that you can download to help you know how long you've gone and how long you've fasted for. And it's going to really help you. I really noticed that once I put a timer on, I don't want to break it and switch it off. So it really psychologically helps you really move through your fast a lot easier. So the big key to your actual fast is, wait for it, water. It's amazing, right? But as stupid as it sounds, it's actually possible to become dehydrated on your fast because your kidneys are really madly offloading all the toxins in your system, and they discard these toxins by producing more urine. And we really need to make sure that you're really replenishing these fluids. So 3 to 4 liters, so that's 12 to 16 cups of water a day, which sounds like a lot, and it can be a little bit in the beginning, but your body actually gets used to it. So during the fast, this is a good target to aim for. And the quality of your water, yes, it does really matter. Try to avoid tap water. It doesn't matter where you live, unless your tap is really coming from an amazing spring in your particular area, which I know some areas do that, because tap water is notorious for containing heavy metals, even in first world countries. And right now, we're trying to eliminate all the crap in your system. So instead, choose really good quality water for these few days. Spring water or filtered water of your own, if you have one of those at home. Distilled water, they're all really good sources of water. So the next essentials for your fast after the water itself is electrolytes, which is pretty much just a fancy word for minerals. So the human body requires a number of minerals to function, but daily it needs 3 in particular. So sodium, magnesium, and potassium. Now obviously sodium, that's an easy one to get, that's just salt. So adding half a teaspoon of salt to your water, or mineral water, I definitely prefer mineral water. I can't put salt into water and drink it. It makes me gag. Don't want to put Inception into your head about that, but I just find that mineral water is already quite salty anyway. If you add a little bit more salt, that's much easier. And once you do that, then you'll have all you need for the day. Now, magnesium can be taken in tablet form, or even if you have a roll-on, which you can roll onto the tops of your feet or behind your knees for absorption through the skin. Now, 1 magnesium tablet is usually sufficient for the day for most brands that I found. And I choose magnesium glycinate. So glycinate is the carrier, and it's more gentle on the stomach than some of the other carriers that magnesium uses and is mixed with at times. So I think that's pretty wise when you have nothing in your stomach. You're going to want it pretty gentle. So it's called magnesium glycinate. Potassium is a little harder to supplement on your fast, as it usually comes from the foods we eat. But most tablet forms of potassium contain only 2% of your daily intake and are therefore pretty useless. So I found some potassium powders though on Amazon that have a higher percentage. So I would look for a powder over a tablet when it comes to potassium. Now, all of this to say, keeping in mind that you're only fasting for 3 days. So it probably isn't life or death if you don't supplement things like potassium, magnesium. But I would definitely make sure that you get some salt each day. So you need that sodium in your system. And that's the most important mineral, funnily enough, in the body, particularly if you're in hot climates and you're sweating a lot. So that is the most essential mineral that the body needs, and it's going to regulate your blood pressure and your heart functions. Very important. And if you're feeling lightheaded at any stage for whatever reason, make sure that you have more salt. This could mean that your blood pressure has dropped, which is good. If you've got high blood pressure, that's great on a fast. But a fast will actually lower your blood pressure. So if you're prone to low blood pressure anyway, just make sure that you do have enough salt coming into your system. All right, so you might be wondering about tablets that require food when you're on a fast. So if you take medications each day, but they need to be taken with food, you can still fast, but you'll need to be taking your pills with a little hack. Soaking chia seeds in water for 30 minutes. They become like a gel-like substance, and then you can take your tablets with that. So it's not about trying to wash the tablets down, it's more about lining your stomach and not making you feel sick when you have your tablets. And it's not going to break your fast either. Chia seeds are very low in calories, and they're also not going to raise your insulin levels. And they're the 2 things that will break your fast. Too many calories or raising your insulin levels. So chia seeds are perfect, and that's a clever little hack. The big thing about fasting, and I always talk about this, is you must listen to your body. If it needs rest, then please rest. Do not push yourself. A fast is all about resting the body anyway. So all of that energy that you've got is going into healing, because the busier you are, the less energy you've got to go into healing. So if you want to do some exercise, don't do any weights or any of the cardio. Your body is really not capable of doing that at this stage in fasting. The body can only take, say, things like light walking, perhaps some light swimming, tai chi, yoga, just movements. You've really got to think about just movement on a fast, not exercise. And this is really, really important. If you honestly feel like you need to stop on your fast for any medical or physical reason, outside of just being hungry, then you must stop. Your body will guide you along your journey. So time to really learn how to listen to it and follow what it's saying. How to break your fast and eat again. Yay! Okay, so you've done the hard part, but breaking a fast is really an art in itself. There really is an art and science to breaking your fast the right way so you don't feel sick or undo all the good healing that's happened during your last 3 days. The last thing we want is for you to faceplant into a pizza. During your fast, your body has been busy tearing down and discarding all the old and damaged cells that need replacing. So during the refeeding phase, when we start eating again, the body is looking to rebuild Rome with all those incredible stem cells that you've produced. So these cells, stem cells, immediately following your fast, don't really have a purpose in life. They're waiting to be told where to go and what to rebuild. And to do that, they need protein. Therefore, it's essential that you get some good sources of protein into your system immediately in this refeeding phase. And it's important you eat good protein to keep the weight off too. So stem cells can just as easily turn into fat cells if you don't give them the protein they require to build the areas that need it. Now, while we've all been fed the story that meat is the best form of protein, it actually isn't. This was just the meat industry serving up propaganda to make some more sales. And no, I'm not joking. So animals, like humans, don't actually create their own amino acids, which are proteins. They only get protein from the food they eat. Yep, that's plants. So plants are the original and the best forms of all protein. All other animal-based proteins are in fact secondhand from plants. Once again, we can employ the good old 𝗙𝗂𝗋 approach to eating. So that's salads, soups, stir fries, and smoothies. And of course, juices are great here again too. So how long should you be eating lightly? To be honest, as long as you like, but the longer, the better. And for at least 2 days following your 3-day fast. You're certainly not going to do any harm eating lightly for a week or more after a fast, that's for sure. And you probably just feel like that as well, because don't forget this is also resetting your relationship with food. So a quick tip on reintroducing foods. After a fast is the ideal time to gradually bring in foods back into your diet, especially those you might suspect might be causing you some issues like an upset stomach or inflammation or an allergic reaction, that sort of thing. So you have now reset your system. If you go one by one with these foods, you can isolate just how they make you actually feel. But also tuning into your intuition, you can get to see if you really even want to have these foods anymore. And that's how fasting can be the gift that keeps on giving. It's a terrific way to reset your relationship with certain foods. And many freedom fasters, including myself, have done just that. I used to be a massive sugar head. Yes, it runs in the family. And over time, I've been able to severely reduce those cravings and desires for sweet stuff purely through fasting. Now, I rarely have it. I might have an indulgence here and there. I might go on even a little binge here and there as well. But really reducing my sugar cravings has been such a natural process. The cleaner I became inside, the less my body and mind were actually really wanting any of those foods. See, the body really does want to be healthy. It's actually our natural state, but we just have to give it the right environment to be that way. And water fasting is it. All right, now you've got the complete blueprint for your 3-day water fast. But knowing what to do is only half the battle. The other half is handling the mental stuff that comes up during a fast. And so that's why I created a follow-up video. It's called Your Mind is Sabotaging Your Water Fast. Here's 6 ways to outsmart it. So I'm going to put the link for that down below in the description. And if you want more step-by-step fasting guides like this one, hit that subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell as well, and I'll see you in the next video.